We're going to move on, though, from the mock draft. We always spend a ton of time on these mock drafts, but we're going to move on to some actual news that happened this week. And this one coming down beginning of the week. We're recording the podcast on Monday this week because of some scheduling issues that I had for Tuesday. But, Mark, earlier today, the Jets coming out and saying, hey, Antonio Cromartie, thanks but no thanks. The 31-year-old cornerback was released.
Yeah, you know what? It's interesting. It's kind of a move to the future, I'd guess. It's one of those hard decisions that a team makes. It's kind of a bummer because he is such an important part of the New York Jets kind of history, and he's done okay. He hasn't done amazing in the last few years, I'd say. So it's just basically one of those things where the guy he's gotten older. He's not going to play at the same level that he had always played at before, but it's not like he's really lost a ton of steam. It's not like he's just completely fallen off the map. He's going to be a guy who players on the other team respect. He's going to be a guy that you kind of make some game plans around. You kind of figure out what you can do to avoid this guy. But, you just got to understand that he's not the same person he was, whether it was 2008, whether
Arizona.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the Arizona was just a little bit ago, but even I'm going back to the San Diego days or when he first got to the New York Jets. He's not that player anymore. And
he's not going to be like 2007 Cromartie when he had 10 INTs for an average of 14 yards and a touchdown.
And the New York Jets, fortunately for them, they're not in the position where they're saying, we want to just keep one of these guys around to kind of coach up our young players. They're saying, hey, we won some games last year. We won quite a few games last year. We can't afford to keep one of these guys around. We got to get people who are contributing so this 10 win can become an 11 win, can become a 12 win. We can win the division. We can beat the New England Patriots. We can take it from Tom Brady. That's what they got to be doing. So, it's not a move that makes the fans happy, but it's something that, you just got to do.
And I mean, this one is harder than, we asked the same question last week about Matt Forte. Where will he play in 2016? Because that's what you're going to get when most guys are released. If they're big names on the podcast, we're going to talk about where they could play in 2016. This one, not as clear-cut to me as Matt Forte, because as a 31-year-old cornerback, he could virtually go anywhere that could use defensive back help. The one thing I am reading, though, and I don't know how reliable this source is coming out of New Jersey, NJ.com, they have an article where it says Antonio Cromartie expected to be willing to return to Jets for less money per source. So, I mean, let's be honest, he was cut for salary cap reasons because the Jets saved $8 million on the salary cap for cutting him. Do you think that's just what's going to happen? Is the Jets are going to say, okay, we're going to re-sign you at a lower cost? Does he go to a different team? If he does, where does he go? What do you think?
He might be at that point in his career where he is looking to, the future. He's looking about where he's going to retire. And
that's another choice. Does he just say, fuck it, I'm done?
I don't think he'll say he's done. I think if nobody wants him, he might make that decision. But I don't think he's going to do that on his own. Not yet, at least. Basically, he might be thinking about those times in San Diego or in New York and thinking, all right, these were the teams I was at the most. I can come back to New York, play a little bit more, maybe play another season, maybe play 2 seasons, and then I can call it a game, or then I can call it a career. I definitely think he's probably looking ahead and getting to that point where he's thinking about his legacy, thinking about how he wants to be remembered. I don't really expect him to go be a guy who's going to play on a contender, who's going to be that I'm just going here so I can get my ring kind of guy. I really can't say where I think Antonio Cromartie is going to go because, like you said, he can go anywhere. He's one of these players where any team that really needs a guy, they'll probably give him a call and say, hey, What do you think you might want to play in Cleveland? You think you might want to play in Tampa Bay? He's going to get a lot of these calls, I think, from a lot of these teams lower on the spectrum who don't have great offenses. I don't think that the New England Patriots are going to give him a call. I don't think that the Kansas City Chiefs are going to be giving him a call. Teams that actually will be competing, teams that will try and get into the Super Bowl.
One team.
Don't think so.
One team. And I mean, immediately what I did is I started looking at, obviously, the number one connection, because he's played on them now for 2 years in a row, is Todd Bowles right there in New York. Cromartie played under Bowles as a defensive coordinator in 2014 with the Cardinals. This past year, obviously, with Bowles in New York, just followed him straight to New York, could re-sign with him. Otherwise, the other two head coaches that he's played under is Norv Turner. He played under in San Diego for 3 of his 4 years in San Diego. Norv Turner took over in Cromartie's second year in the league. I don't think he gets a reuniting with Norv Turner, because Turner's now an offensive coordinator with my Vikings, and I just don't think the Vikings go to offer him a contract. However, the one team, and this is probably, it's either going to be the Jets or this team, a team that's also in the AFC East. He did play under Rex Ryan during Rex Ryan's career in New York from 2010 to 2013. Does maybe Rex Ryan give him a call and say, hey, you know what? If the Jets don't want you, come give it one more go in Buffalo, try to make the playoffs with us.
Okay, same way. We either make the playoffs or we're all out of a job. So you want to come over here? Yeah, the Ryan brothers might do it. It's just, I don't know. This one's just kind of, it's a tough question to really have an answer to until we start seeing some of the teams that are interested. Because really, and I know that might sound a little silly, but the problem is that literally any team could give him a call. It's not a Matt Forte situation where it's, hey, Matt Forte will be able to push one of these teams over from not Super Bowl contender to Super Bowl contender. So which one of these is he going to go to? / Matt Forte just wants a ring. I'm sure Antonio Cromartie would love a ring. I bet that the man would. But he's not going to be the guy, and he's not of that status and able to really be that, I'm pushing this team to the next level.
Well, and I mean, the weird thing, too, is right now we're in a weird time in the football schedule, because right now the big thing going on is the Combine. The Combine starts tomorrow as we're recording this podcast. It's going to go on all week and throughout the weekend. March 1st is when we get the franchise tag deadline, and then March 7th through 9th is when teams are finally permitted to contact and enter negotiations with certified agents of players who will become unrestricted free agents. So the league year doesn't start until March 9th. So right now, we're not going to me, I feel with Cromartie, we're not going to know any teams that are interested until, I'm going to say, March 9th at 3 p.m. Central Time for us. That's when free agency starts.
I mean, you might get some little rumors here and there of, oh, this team might be interested, that team might be interested. And you might even have some.
We may have one or two, but most of them aren't going to start rolling in until actually teams are like,
and Cromartie's not going to be one of these guys, unless he gets re-signed by the Jets. He's not going to be one of these guys that
highly touted.
Yeah, that day agent. One, boom, he's gone. He's not going to be that guy that as soon as it starts, you got your update on Twitter.
He's going to be a journeyman type quarterback. I mean, usually we talk about quarterbacks being that, but yeah, he's going to be the journeyman now. Where if he's going to go to another team, that's what he's going to be, a journeyman.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So, it's not a big name splash or anything like that. He's going to have to sit and he's going to have to wait and kind of see what teams do give him that call.